Hello, advanced math students. Today we're going to go through the first part of lesson 1 through 1.3. And this starts with talking about factoring three-term expressions. Now we've talked about factoring four-term expressions using grouping, and we've done some GCF factoring, and that could be 2, 3, 4, however many terms. So we're going to go ahead. There's going to be two parts to this lesson, two different videos as well. So let's go ahead here. So when we're looking at factoring three terms, we are looking at factoring the three terms into two binomials. The first ones we're going to start with are going to be when we have an x and an x, leaving that one. I refoil this, I get x squared. So this is going to be kind of the start here. What can vary is the operators, pluses and minuses. And what other thing that can vary is what are the second parts or constants to our binomials here, or numbers. Alrighty? So again, how can I factor an expression containing three terms? That's going to be our answer at the end of both of the videos here. So one thing to keep in mind is that before we start breaking it, doing a process to break it into two binomials, we should always see if there's a GCF involved. If there is, we take that out. So for example, let's say I have 7x squared minus 14x plus 7. I see that 7 goes into each. I would factor that out like I've done in the past, and then try to break down that trinomial. Remember, a three-term expression is called a trinomial. So that's going to be our process here. So one way to do these types of x squared binomials, so again, or trinomials, that'd be something like I just showed you here. We would have x squared. I would have some number times x plus c. Okay, that's an example of a leading term of 1, because we would have a 1 out in front of here. Alrighty, so again, some people do this kind of, it's sometimes called the diamond method, sometimes it's called the crisscross method. So we're going to go ahead here and do this process here with some example problems here. Okay, so let's go ahead here. And example 1 here, if off to the side, I go ahead and do my crisscross. And again, looking back here, I do my last term, goes in here. Looking back here, the factors of the last term, I have some combinations of 21. So I could do 1 and 21, or 3 and 7. And I want to get my middle term here. So it looks like I want to take this guy times this guy, this kind of, alrighty. And that would be if there's no signs, and this is plus. So then I go x plus 3, x plus 7, and that's factored. Now I could check this, but I do not have to. Again, for number 2, I'm looking for a plus 10 again. No, actually, I'm looking for a 7 here. Sorry about that. I put that in the wrong spot. So again, that's going to be middle term. 10 goes there, and that's positive. Now in this case, if I multiply to a positive and add to a negative, I need either negative 1 times negative 10, or negative 2 and negative 5. So here are the ones that I'm looking at here. So I'm going to go x minus 2 and x minus 5. So again, if those come out to be negative, then I do have to use a negative in the binomial. Let me just kind of box these up here. So again, continuing here, I'm going to stay on the blue here. So I'm going to, and I get plus 9 here. I get negative 22 here. Factors of negative 22, I have 1 and 22. I have 1 and negative 22. I have negative 2 and 11. And I have 2 and negative 11. Now, since I want a positive 9, I'm looking at this one or this one. And when I look closer, I'm looking at this combination here. So again, one of the skills that you have to have is being able to break down the last term, or the C coefficient, the minus 22, into its factors. That's always a very powerful skill here. Okay. Now this one here, again, I see something a little unusual. I got a multiple of 3 out front, so I'm going to go ahead and take a 3 out. And again, if I'm going to use the method here, I want a middle term of plus 4. I need this. And now what some people do, they just kind of start thinking, I've got 1 and 5, 1 and negative 5. They think this, or negative 1 and positive 5. And so I'm going to go here with this one because that's going to give me this guy here. Again, when we rewrite this after the GCF factoring and the binomial factoring, we have to make sure we bring that 3 factor down as well as part of our answer. Alrighty. So this, I need to, these last couple problems aren't really fitting on my screen here, so I guess I will do it up here. I've got positive 20 here. I got positive 1 here. And again, if I do my factor pairs of 20, and when I go ahead and add these up, none of these add up to 1. So once in a while, we have to say does not factor. So that happens once in a while. Just kind of be ready for that. And then this last one here, I'm going to pull out the A first. And again, if I go ahead and do this, I get 2, I get plus 3, I get plus 1, and plus 2. So my final answer Alrighty, so that concludes the first part of the lesson. Again, if you have a different way to factor that works, do it. I naturally don't do it this way, but this is a good one for teaching students. So again, remember, always look for a GCF first. And I will have another video here before you have to do any homework or worksheet problems on this for you to do as well. So adios, guys. We'll see you shortly in another video.